Hello, I'm Bonnie, and welcome to Painless Performance Improvement. This is Tim. Now, I've asked him to assist me throughout the program for a couple of reasons. One, while my expertise is in performance improvement, Tim is a certified expert in almost every category of poor performance. And two, he's my little brother, and he needs the work.
Happy to help out, Bonnie.
You're welcome, Tim. So, let's get started with a simple definition of painless performance improvement. Now, we define painless performance improvement as that moment in time when a team member decides to improve their own performance without any drama, conflict, or threats involved.
Excuse me? They decide to improve their own performance?
While that might sound a little misleading, and certainly the manager needs to help, the truth is, real change only happens when the decision comes from the person doing the changing, so yes, we'll stick with that definition. Now, one very important
thing... And there's no
thing...
threats involved?
Nope.
How about a little nagging?
Nope.
Some whining?
I'm not sure what you're used to, Tim. I'm guessing this is the opposite. But, I don't know, you tell me. You've had 4 jobs in the last 6 months. Why do you think managers let you get away with showing up late, ignoring your customers, and not finishing what you start?
Is this a trick question?
No, Tim, I really want to know how it works.
Well, it depends. I find that most managers will start off giving me the benefit of the doubt. You know, they don't want to be the bad guy. When I mess up, they'll ask me if anything's wrong, like somehow it's their fault. Then when I keep messing up, they get frustrated and angry with me, which actually works out, because then they feel bad and have to apologize. So they'll try to patch things up, and I'll promise to do better, and that usually holds them off for a while. But normally I just get fired right away.
It's quite a life you got there, Tim.
Thank you.
The point I was hoping you would help me illustrate is this. The main reason that managers avoid performance improvement is to avoid the conflict and the drama that seems to go with it. It can be both very painful and disruptive. So we've come up with a technique to keep the improvement but avoid the pain. Let's start with the revolutionary concept that is the basis of all painless performance improvement. Deal with performance, not attitude. Now, this may not sound so revolutionary, but keeping attitude out of the equation is absolutely critical, and it's harder than you think. Why? Because we've all been taught that attitude drives behavior, period. Never the other way around. But that's not always true. Tim, what have you heard from every single boss you've ever had?
Well, apparently I have a bad attitude.
Exactly, and they're right. But what is the one thing they can't see or change in the least?
My brain?
Your wonderful brain. Now, your attitude is yours and yours alone to change, but showing up on time, that they can change. Finishing what you start, that they can change. Even smiling at customers, that they can change. Anything you can observe, you can change. And the truth is, changing behavior can change attitude. It's like the old saying, smile till you feel like it. Improved behavior leads to success, and success leads to an improved attitude. As a manager, focus on the things you can see and change. So, how do I know this?
I'm sorry. So, how do you know this?
I speak from painful experience, my little brother.
Compliments of the Donut Dugout.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, officers, for keeping our streets safe.
Like that hat.
Oh! Thank you. Timmy, where have you been? Do you understand the concept of a lunch hour? An hour. Lunch hour.
I had stuff.
Stuff? Stuff more important than finishing the maple bars? More important than filling the sprinkle bins. Oh, well, perhaps you remember a little commitment you made to a thing called the Donut Dugout Mission Statement. Huh? Does that ring any bells up there?
Don't me and Barnes bring our checks by yet?
Well, habits start early. And that's a little painful to watch.
No kidding. You remember how much weight you gained that summer?
We all deal with stress in our own way. That's not the point here. The point is, had I known the first rule of painless performance improvement, which is...
Deal with performance, not attitude.
Exactly. Had I known that, I could have turned things around for you and spared myself the embarrassment of letting you all see me in that ridiculous hat. Look, as a manager, what you can observe, you can change. In fact, that's the first step to painless performance improvement. Tim? State what you observe, not what you feel. Otherwise...
So now everyone else has to check your orders? Why do you think we pay you?
What are you talking about?
I am talking about half your orders. You pulled wrong sizes, you used wrong discount codes, you're combining orders that should never have been put together in the first place.
There you go. Here's your receipt. Thank you. Sure.
Sean, do you have some big issue against offering customers our credit card?
Huh? Not really. I had a person sign up yesterday.
Yeah, but that should happen a dozen times a day.
What is your problem today? Nobody here wants to work with you.
I don't care. It's fine with me.
Well, I care. That's not how we work here.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah, you're right. These managers dealt with poor performance, but instead of using step one and just stating what they observed, they decided to add rather inflammatory questions. The problem is, to the employee, their questions may have sounded more like...
Are you clueless or just stubborn?
Can you say focus?
Nobody likes you.
These are the types of attitudes I have to put up with on a daily basis, Bonnie.
I understand, Tim. And as a professional underachiever, how do these comments from your managers make you feel?
It saddens me, Bonnie. And frankly, it's disappointing. I mean, who's the adult in these situations?
You're 26, Tim.
True. But sometimes they're older than me.
My point is that when a manager adds their own attitude to a performance problem, it just creates a bigger problem for everyone. So rather than complicating things, they should simplify things by only stating what they observe. For example,
Thank you.
Sean, I noticed you didn't offer our credit card to your last 3 customers.
Frank, there were mistakes in 3 of your last 10 orders.
Okay, they stated the obvious, but what good is that going to do?
well, it's just the first step. But did you notice how the last manager used the word noticed? That's a great technique to ensure that you're making a statement of what you actually observed, what you noticed. And to answer your question, it will do a world of good because now any discussion that follows will be about performance, not attitude. So let's take a look at another example, both the good and the bad. Then we'll break it down step by step.
Carol, Terry just asked me for a monthly status report, and I had to make excuses because obviously I haven't gotten anything from you yet.
Sorry.
I shouldn't have to beg you for a report that you know is due at the end of every month.
Can I get it to you first thing Monday? I gotta catch a bus. I'm really late.
No.
What?
You asked me if you can get it to me Monday, and the answer is no.
You want me to miss my bus?
No, I want you to turn in your report.
This is so unfair. Do you expect me to work the weekend?
I expect you to stick to the deadlines you've agreed to. And I'm tired of your procrastination affecting my work. And I'm tired of your bus schedule being more important than your work schedule.
Whoa, that could turn into a nightmare.
Exactly. I mean, that is a perfect example of doing more harm than good.
No kid. You miss an express bus, and it's like forever getting home.
Instead of intervening to correct a relatively simple behavior, a late assignment, this manager has just opened up a whole new set of personal conflicts between the two of them. So let's look at the difference between a conflict and an intervention.
Nobody wants to work with you.
I don't care. It's fine with me.
Well, I do care. That's not how we work around
A
here.
conflict is a battle between two opposing attitudes. It's about two people who both feel they're right and the other person is wrong. A conflict has a winner and a loser.
Ronnie, I'm sorry you're having such a lousy day. But that doesn't change the fact that when you're here at work, your job is very simple.
An intervention, on the other hand, is about taking action when you observe a particular behavior. It's not about being right. It's about being determined to change the behavior. An intervention doesn't have winners and losers. It just has outcomes. So, before you confront a team member about their poor performance or behavior, check your own attitude. Make sure you're not doing it to prove yourself right or to win a conflict. You're simply determined to change their behavior. Let's see if Carol's manager can turn our last scene from a conflict to an intervention.
Carol,
Hi.
it's the 31st and I don't have your month-end report.
Oh, sorry. I promise I'll get it to you first thing Monday, okay? I gotta catch a bus. I'm really late.
Well, I'm sorry you're running late, but we agreed the last day of the month by noon.
I know, but I'm gonna miss my bus.
Well, I don't want you to miss your bus, but I do want us to resolve this problem. So think about how we do that, and let's talk about your solutions first thing Monday.
Wow, that sounds serious.
It is serious. So Monday then?
Okay, thanks.
Now that was the beginning of painless performance improvement. Let's look at some of the subtle things that went on there. Step 1, she stated what she observed, not what she was feeling.
Carol, it's the 31st and I don't have your month-end report.
Oh, sorry.
A simple, neutral statement. Instead of an accusation like, you didn't turn it in again, she said, I don't have it. That kept her own attitude out of it, and it set a much more positive tone for the whole intervention. But what else did she do right?
Carol, it's the 31st and I don't have your month-end report.
Oh, sorry.
Bonnie, you played this clip already.
Yes, but did you catch it? After she stated what she observed, did you notice what she did next?
She didn't do anything.
Exactly. Nothing. Silence. She waited for a response. And that's step number 2. Wait for a response. Now, it's the easiest step because you don't do anything. And it's the hardest step because...
You don't do anything?
Right. There's something about silence that makes us want to talk. The longer the silence between two people, the louder the little voice in our head starts yelling, say something. But be careful, because this is perhaps the single most critical step in the whole process. And here's why. Once you have stated what you observed, it's like placing the performance problem between the two of you. The person who speaks next is the one who is taking responsibility to solve the problem. And as a manager, that can't be you. So let the silence and the responsibility rest on the poor performing team member.
That would be me?
That would be you. Now, once they do decide to speak, that's when the fun begins.
Well, if we went with the software that I suggested and you vetoed, you'd have your numbers whenever you wanted them, wouldn't you?
No one enjoys being confronted on their own poor performance, so they'll instinctively try to divert your attention away from what they've done and toward almost anything else. These are called sidetracks. It's human nature. We all do it. And again, I speak from the heart.
It's physically impossible for a train to move that way. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Bonnie Louise, it's half an hour before dinner. Did you get into the pudding?
What? It's dinner time?
What happened to the pudding?
The pudding? What kind of pudding was it? Chocolate! We ate it!
The sidetrack I was attempting is called the stall.
The stall?
Yeah, for obvious reasons. The person confronted with poor performance simply stalls. At work, it sounds more like...
Okay. I'll try to remember.
I've used that one myself. It's great. It sounds like I'm agreeing, but it's really just to get them off my back. There's another one I like called...
We get the point. It's not necessary
No, wait.
to go...
It's called the guilt trip. We can't leave that one out.
Fine.
Roll the tape.
I'm trying my best. Isn't that good enough?
I've also had good luck with what I call the self-inflicted wound. Roll it.
I don't know. I just don't get it. Sometimes I feel like I'm the worst person on the team.
That works every time on the nice ones. You beat yourself up first, so they feel like it's their job to make you feel better or at least go easy on you.
Yeah, you've practiced that one your whole life.
Oh, have I? Well, it's better than your favorite.
What are you talking about? I don't use sidetracks.
Ladies and gentlemen, my sister's personal favorite, the attack, where the best defense is a good offense.
You have the nerve to stand there and accuse me of eating up the profits? Huh? Well, Mr. Barnes, just how many free cups of coffee have you had today, huh? That doesn't grow on trees either, now does it?
Actually, I think it does grow on trees.
Thanks for your help, by the way. So, fine, we all use them. But here's the point. Instead of learning how to recognize 101 sidetracks, all you really need to recognize is the feeling that all sidetracks will give you. The feeling of being pulled off track. So when you start off determined to talk about one thing and you find yourself talking about another,
you just fell for a sidetrack. Sorry.
The solution? Get back on track by using the 2 magic words that lead to step number 3.
2 magic words.
Watch and learn.
What? And those are your 2 magic words?
No, just watch the next scene.
Well, if we went with the software that I suggested but you vetoed, you could have your numbers whenever you wanted them.
Well, that may be true. But right now, we're talking about having your report on my desk by the last day of every month by 12 noon.
Right now.
Yes, right now. Those little words work like magic because they let you acknowledge the sidetrack, but keep the focus on the right now, namely step number 3.
Remind them of the goal.
Right. And the more clear the goal, the greater your chance of improved performance.
Sean, your job is to offer each of our customers a discount with their credit application.
Your job is to double check and sign each order for 100% accuracy.
Did you notice how these goals are about very specific and measurable performance? Again, don't fall into the trap of trying to manage attitudes. Make the goals about things you can observe, like greeting every customer, cheerfully helping coworkers, 100% accuracy. These are the observable outcomes of a good attitude.
Your monthly figures are due at noon on the last day of the month, no exceptions.
At this point, you aren't looking for a response, and you certainly don't want to have to deal with another sidetrack. So you follow your last statement with the word so.
So, what ideas do you have to solve this problem?
This little word helps lead directly into step number 4.
Ask for their specific solution.
It works like this.
Ronnie, your job is to answer the phone with a smile in your voice and to find ways to help support each member of this team. So, what specifically can you do to make sure you accomplish that?
The solutions they come up with may surprise you. They may range from the bizarre to the sarcastic and anywhere in between. But be careful here, don't get sidetracked by them. Your goal at this point is to get one opening suggestion and then encourage more, one at a time.
Well, the register shows the discount on the subtotal, so I could tell them that amount after I ring their purchase.
That makes sense. So what else?
Maybe instead of boxing each item as I go, I could lay it all out before I pull wrapping.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What else might work?
Now, once you've heard several that might work, you take step 5. You agree together on the best one.
Agree together.
The final step. Now, notice that we didn't just say agree. We said
agree together.
The together part of the step is just as important. Now, hopefully you found a solution together. Now you also need to repair together any damage or stress that this problem has put on your working relationship.
That's terrific. I am so excited for you because I know you're going to succeed. Thanks for working on this.
Sure. Thanks for your patience. I like working here.
And I like you being here. You're a natural with people. You're going to do very well.
That's a very clean solution. You put some great thought into this. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate your willingness to work with what we have.
Well, that about wraps things up.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt your happy little ending, but I still got one little question. What if none of this works? What if Frank messes up the very next day? And what if at the end of the month, no report from Carol?
Tim, way to go. You have brought up an excellent point.
I did?
Yes. And, well, I'm here to say that on the road to termination, there is still room for painless performance improvement. Now, the solution remains the same. Deal with performance, not attitude. The 5 steps will still work, but you reminded me of a very important 6th step, follow through.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, Leslie, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. It's 2 days before the end of the month, and I want to make sure you're on track with your
Follow through is simply a matter of reminding your team member that you're determined to help them improve their own performance. It's about sending the clear signal that you are not going to let go of this matter until it's corrected.
Yeah, the velvet pit bull. That's what Mom does.
The only other suggestion we have would be to include an appropriate consequence during step 4.
Ask for their specific solution.
Frank, I'm sure that we both want to keep this from becoming a disciplinary matter. So, what specifically are you going to do tomorrow to guarantee 100% accuracy?
An employee with performance problems needs all the help you can afford to give them. But most of all, they need a clear picture of the path they're currently on and a clear plan of how they themselves can turn things around.
Bonnie, I'm impressed.
Tim, I'm impressed as well. I think there's hope. If you please, let's leave these folks with a final look at the 5 steps of painless performance improvement. The secret, of course, is to deal with performance, not attitude.
I noticed that you were rude to Angela.
You 1, state what you've observed, not what you're feeling.
Credit card to your last 3 customers.
2, you wait for a response.
I had a person sign up yesterday.
That's great. Your job is to offer each of our
3, you remind them of the goal.
So, what specifically are you going
4, you ask for their specific solution.
I could mark the pick list on each item.
And 5, you agree together on a solution.
I think that's going to make a big difference. Good work.
And don't forget to follow through.
Follow through. Very good, little brother. Well, that's it. Good luck, and thanks for learning.
Yeah, we'll be in touch, so you be in touch.
We'll be in touch? What is that about?
I don't know. I've always wanted to say that. So, what's our next show?
No way, once was enough.
Oh, come on. I'll buy you a door.